beautiful people. So, a few days ago, I saw the recent episode of DuckTales 2017 titled, Let's Get Dangerous. Is it possible to say that without doing the voice? Now, I don't normally talk about individual episodes, but you may remember that I talked about the finale to Steven Universe Future and the finale to Season 4 of Rick and Morty over on Toon Talk. Well, those were because they were finales of some sort. Now, I wanted to do an episode on this episode in particular, mainly because, well, it's a big old hour-long special, so definitely has a higher standard than a typical episode, and the fact that this could lead to a potential spinoff. Now, what this episode is about is that Scrooge McDuck is heading to the science lab that he owns in St. Canard to see this invention that the scientist is working on, who was one of the villains from the original Darkwing Duck series. And speaking of Darkwing Duck, Dewey and Launchpad are heading over to Drake Mallard, the actor who was a big fan of the TV series Darkwing Duck in universe. Yeah, in this universe, Darkwing Duck was a TV show, and in season 2, there was an episode where the actor who played Darkwing Duck in the TV show in this universe of DuckTales is mad because they're rebooting Darkwing Duck and they didn't cast him, and the original actor who played Darkwing Duck in this universe later basically just became Negaduck, who was the nega version of Darkwing Duck in the original series that we know, not in DuckTales. My brain just blew up. And now, the actor who was originally supposed to play Darkwing Duck in this reboot is now being Darkwing Duck for real in the city of St. Canard, but he hasn't been fighting any crime lately because St. Canard doesn't really have a lot of crime. So you got all that? Good. So, Darkwing notices someone is breaking into the McDuck labs. So, he breaks in himself and notices that it's Gosalyn! Yeah, Gosalyn from the original series, who, is there because, well, her grandfather built this machine that can, and supposedly take stuff out of nowhere. Make stuff out of nothing. That's what we're believed. But the scientist who had taken over the role of the creator after the grandfather left, the bull, I forgot his name, he later reveals that they actually come from different dimensions. And halfway through the episode, where I was in it, I didn't know this was an hour-long special initially, where you're halfway through the special, he brings the villains from the Darkwing Duck cartoon into their universe. Because there's this theory going around on the show that there was a scientist who believed that all works of fiction are basically gateways into other dimensions. Basically been like, these characters exist, but not in our reality. Which, if the multiverse theory is true, then wouldn't that be the case for us as well? I mean, guys, just think about it. The Wiggles could be real! Wait, they are real? So, the second half of the episode is pretty much a backdoor pilot for a potential Darkwing Duck spinoff. Because with this episode, we spend a lot of time with Darkwing, Launchpad, and Gosalyn. And Scrooge, Huey, Dewey, and Louie are kind of pushed to the side a little bit. But even then, we still get a continuation to the story arc that this show has been doing throughout the season, which is the big reveal of an organization called FOWL, which was in the original Darkwing Duck series. And it's revealed that Scrooge's boss is actually... I forget if it's his boss or his lawyer, but one of them. One of the two. He's actually one of the heads of FOWL. It's revealed to them, at least. We've known that since the end of season 2, but the characters didn't know that, okay? So they figure that out. And Scrooge, Huey, Dewey, and Louie are transported into another dimension, which is the dimension of the original DuckTales show. They resemble the style and everything. Huey, Dewey, Louie have their classic designs. Scrooge is wearing the blue outfit. And I see monster took my ice cream. I need to work on my Scrooge McDuck. See monster took my ice cream. Something like that. And, yeah. There are quite a bit of references to Darkwing Duck in particular. There are some other references to other Disney shows. Like, for instance, Bonkers makes a cameo. For those of you who don't know, Bonkers was another Disney afternoon show that aired sometime in the mid-90s about a cop in Toontown working together with a cop who's supposedly not a toon, but yet the show is completely animated, but some characters are toons and others aren't. I've never seen the show, but apparently it's just as confusing if you had. So yeah, they're going through police footage and the cop in that footage is Bonkers, so yeah, that's pretty freaking cool. They've already made several other references to other Disney afternoon shows like Gummy Bears and Rescue Rangers, and Goofy makes a cameo in an episode where he has his Goof Troop design. Yeah. And Don Carnage from Tailspin is actually a recurring villain in the show. They just gotta get some gargoyles and Mighty Ducks in there, and you pretty much have all of the non-specific movie adaptations for the Disney afternoon. Okay, technically the Mighty Ducks was based on a movie, but stupidly loosely, like incredibly loosely. Basically just in name and the fact that the characters play hockey. So yeah. So this episode was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it, and it actually kind of made me want to go ahead and binge the entirety of Darkwing Duck. I haven't seen a lot of Darkwing Duck, to be honest. I've only seen a few episodes, but what I've seen was actually really enjoyable, and I loved it. It was great. I really should check out more of the show now that it's all on Disney+. I do have the Season 1 DVD set, and I've seen a little bit of what was on there. I think it's just a lack of time, really. So, maybe sometime later this year or next year, I could go ahead and binge the original Darkwing Duck. And can we please get a spin-off of Darkwing Duck? A Darkwing Duck spin-off with superheroes all the rage now. I mean, a Darkwing Duck spin-off would just be perfect. I mean, you could even still have Launchpad come here. Launchpad, Goslin. Just make this show happen. Make the Darkwing Duck spin-off of DuckTales 2017 a reality. If they do decide to make it, probably won't happen until about like 2022 at the earliest, I'd say. Cause animation takes a while, And I wouldn't be surprised if this was a backdoor pilot for a potential Darkwing Duck show, because they do that a lot. For some examples of the backdoor pilot would be Popeye premiering in Betty Boop, Aqua Teen Hunger Force premiering in Space Ghost Coast to Coast, And those are some of the only, I think those are the only successful ones I could think of. There have been other ones in the past. Like, I remember that there was going to be a spin-off of Fairly Odd Parents about a TV show that Timmy would watch. I forget the name of it. But they eventually went with Danny Phantom instead. And I also know, and there were also going to be a spin-off of The Office called The Farm, which would be about Dwight and his adventures on the Schrute farm. So, yeah. Those are some examples of backdoor pilots. Maybe this will be one of those failed ones, or maybe this will be one of those ones that will span an entirely new series and fan base of its own. Who knows? But hopefully, the future of Darkwing Duck will be a daring one. Hopefully, it will be dangerous.